First up, we're getting a reaction from the army initially that planned the drill for the November 27th and 28th, but because of the nationwide shutdown that was called by the TMC and other political parties, the dates were changed. Now, this is the information that has been accessed to the documents that you're seeing on your screens. In possession with India Today, the Indian Army furnishing proof that they did inform the state government about the change in dates and about the drill as well.
This is an annual exercise carried out every year. I have already said this is a baseless, and if anybody has got any proof on that, it is for the investigation agency to prove that point. We deny this charge with all contempt. You must be aware that we have specific targets and specific informations and data to be collected. On completion of the data collection at Navona, the team was withdrawn last night around 12 o'clock.
Let's go straight across to India Today's Indrajit Kundu. Indrajit, those documents that you have with you is certainly going to be a major embarrassment for the Trinamool Congress. I mean, yesterday the Indigo debunked Mamata Banerjee's conspiracy theory, and today we are hearing it from the Indian Army themselves, rubbishing the charge made against them.
Well, it's going to be a huge embarrassment, a massive embarrassment for the Chief Minister. She is the one who became face of this entire, political posturing, in a sense, taking on one of the country's most trusted institutions, the army. And today the army comes out, and not just one, there are 8 documents in my hands which have completely, punctured the allegations that have been leveled by not just the Chief Minister, but a series of Trinamool Congress rank and file. Let me just take our audience through these documents. And when the government claims, when the West Bengal government claims that none of their agencies were taken into loop before this drill was carried out, which the army now claims is an annual exercise that takes place everywhere.
Stay with me. If I may just interrupt you there, we also have with us the BJP spokesperson Siddharth Nath Singh. Siddharth, I was just seeing those documents there which clearly and categorically state that the drills were well informed. All the information was given to the government. I mean, yesterday we had Indigo debunking the Trinamool Congress's conspiracy theory and the army also rubbishing the charge. What's going on here?
Well, all I can say is Mamata Banerjee is hallucinating now. And particularly after, losing so much of money under the Sharda and various chit funds because of demonetization, she's coming up with various conspiracy theories. And the worst is that you don't take on the Indian army like this without having relevant documents. And the worst is that the Indian army had to come forth and bring it in the public domain that they had informed which is a routine matter to the TMC administration. And despite that, a constitutional head comes up and tries to shame the Indian army, which is very, very unfortunate, and certainly it is affecting the TMC leadership, and the TMC, the way they are behaving in the parliament is something unacceptable. And for this behavior, the TMC must apologize to the Indian Armed Forces.
No, there are documents to suggest the same. We have documents in our possession that categorically states, which has been released by the army, that the state government was informed about the change in dates because of the protest that was called by her party, who have been at the forefront of the agitation. Why is it that, such kind of behavior, Siddharth, is being exhibited from Mamata Banerjee and her party workers, accusing the government of creating a situation, likening it to an emergency?
Well, we can only infer that why Mamata Banerjee is doing, and the inference does come back from there that one, she wants to be the cheerleader of anti-demonetization group and take up a mantle that she is the tallest opposition leader in India. No problem to that. It's a welcome in democracy. These things are welcome, but then taking it to this far and by pushing the envelope in to a level where you start accusing or you use the Indian Armed Forces to prove your point is something unheard of, and that can only happen when you have been shaken because of some action,
right,
or you have lost somebody who is near and dear, or something which is very near to you. And
right,
what could be near to her, that except the money which was being stashed by her. So there's no other explanation which comes into my mind.
True. Siddharth Singh there. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Let's go straight across to Indrajit also. Indrajit, so the question is that why is Mamata Banerjee so angry? I mean, all this while she has been, taking along the opposition parties and voicing her angst against demonetization, but now making acquisitions against the Indigo Airlines and now the Indian Army only makes the others wonder as to why is it that the Trinamool Congress is making all these charges.
Well, Avantika, we've been covering Mamata Banerjee for a long time now. If we could read her mind, she has always been this street fighter, this agitator. That image has given her massive political dividends. Now she's had two landslide victories in West Bengal. Many political pundits would now say, has her eyes fixed on the national arena. 2019 is what she's looking at, and therefore perhaps a plan has been devised to project herself as that national leader who can bring the opposition together. Now, yesterday we were having an informal chat with the Chief Minister very late into the night when she suddenly came and gave an impromptu visit at the media center with entire media holed up at the State Secretariat at about 1:30 at night. And she clearly stated that, there was an emergency-like situation that she felt. She really believed that there was some amount of conspiracy as far as her flight fiasco is concerned. And as far as the army exercise was concerned, when she did the press conference yesterday, remember, there was the state secretary, chief secretary, the DGP, the commissioner of police, everybody standing next to her when they were doing this press conference. And that brings us to the question that these documents that have now been shared by the army, and it clearly mentions the principal secretary of the transport department.
All right.
It clearly mentions the commissioner of police of Howrah. It mentions the officer in charge of the local police station Hastings. So how the district magistrate of Howrah. So how is it that the entire administration, which stood fast along with the chief minister, did not tell her the reality, the truth, and the chief minister, made such a self-goal, many would say right now?
No, absolutely. And, all of that is written in the documents that you have right now in your possession. We also have with us Mr. Halim from the CPM. Sir, would you call this a military coup as well as has been, suggested by Trinamool Congress? Mamata Banerjee stating that there's a threat to her life. In fact, she has said that, the army is out there to get at her or her party. I mean, your party and the Trinamool Congress surprisingly came on a common platform when it came to demonetization. What do you have to say about the developments that has been happening since last night?
Well, it's definitely a coup against the people's issue. If you see, it's absolutely a distraction. And the army has unfortunately become what we call the fall guy for both the BJP and the Trinamool Congress to actually divert the attention of the entire nation to non-issues from core issues which are affecting the lives of the common people on a day-to-day basis. Now look at the agenda. Very clearly, you have the army undertaking an exercise which it does on a regular basis. Number two, they have put forward the communications to the appropriate authorities. If there is some sort of what we call absence of some due diligence on either the part of the army or the civil administration, the matter should be dealt at that level. You can't have the chief minister react in the most childish fashion that she's not going to go home and sleep just because some protocol.
No, but you're saying two different things here, sir. But you're saying two different things. Are you supporting the chief minister in the allegations that she's made against the army? Because the army has completely refuted the allegations. There is evidence to show that there was prior information. There was also information about the change of dates as a result of the nationwide protest. And this was an annual exercise that is conducted, which the state government knew of.
This is making a mountain out of a molehill. But one has to understand what this issue is just going to help distract the attention of the entire nation from the concrete issues. And I think so both BJP and Trinamool are playing ball on this issue. There are no serious things to be discussed by the nation. Let us focus on how the people are suffering on the issue of demonetizing. Let us focus on the issues of employment. Let us focus on the issues of what we call getting health and education to the common man. these issues are not coming to the forefront. And this is the most ridiculous situation that the entire national discourse is being reduced to. And party to it is both the DDCA and the Trinamool Congress. And the unfortunate part is an institution like the army is in between.
All right, sir. Thanks so much for speaking to us. Brijesh Pandey joins us for more on this. Brijesh, what do you make of all these developments? I mean, first it was, the Trinamool Congress saying that there's a conspiracy to kill the Chief Minister, and now with the Chief Minister herself saying that it's the army who's out there to get to the Chief Minister.
Well, I think, Avantika, in a eagerness to become the face, the rallying point of all opposition parties against the BJP, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has stripped majorly. Because, yesterday we also saw Derek O'Brien, who is the most known face after Mamata Banerjee in TMC, coming out and tweeting that, that army assertion that the police was kept in loop is a lie. So now the shoe is on the other foot, and the Trinamool Congress has been majorly embarrassed by the new revelations which has been made by the army. Now what it has done politically is that, we have spoken to a couple of other leaders, especially from Congress and all, and what we have been given to understand is that post clarification from the Defence Minister and the Indian Army, the other parties in the opposition unity are feeling the heat of taking on the army, and this is the reason why we have started seeing, other parties distancing themselves from the TMC's rallying point, that that there was an attempt, or there was a coup attempt by the Indian Army. Avantika?
Absolutely. Let's go also straight across to Managing Editor TV Today, Rahul Kaval. Rahul, what do you make of this entire situation? Mamata Banerjee, who has been raising the pitch constantly against demonetization, and now she, along with the party, making all these allegations against the centre.
Avantika, Mamata Banerjee seems to be seeing ghosts and conspiracies where they don't exist. These 8 documents accessed by my colleague Indrajit Kundu blow apart Mamata Banerjee's bogey. She's been claiming that the army was staging a virtual coup, that they'd taken over toll plazas. If you heard the tone and tonality of what TMC leaders were suggesting, you'd assume something terribly sinister was going on. But these documents very clearly suggest that similar exercises were carried out in Jharkhand, they were carried out in Uttar Pradesh, they were carried out in Bihar very peacefully and totally uneventfully. Suddenly, you see Mamata Banerjee first claim that there's an Indigo plane which is running out of fuel because the Modi government is out to kill her. Then she goes and says, I will not leave the secretariat, I will stay over here because toll plazas have been taken over. I want to read to you from some of these letters which have been sent to all the relevant departments, and in these letters the army very clearly explains that it is doing this exercise. It also explains why these toll plazas will see army deployment. They want to see if there is an emergency like situation, how many of those vehicles can they take over for military purposes. So that's essentially what the army is trying to gauge. Now, what is very important are these stamps. Take a look here. I want to call my camera person Subodh closer. This is Office of the Commissioner, Hooghly. It is stamped, so it's not as if the army just sent it. These were also received, so much so that the West Bengal government was originally asked for permission for the 28th of November. Instead of doing this exercise on the 28th of November, because apparently that's the day of the Hartal, the government told the army, do this later, do this at the beginning of the next month, which is why the dates were delayed. So it is totally bizarre what we've been seeing the Trinamool party say and do. This makes no sense. Now, the army shouldn't be used as a political pawn. The TMC wants to do politics on demonetization. They want to target the Modi government. By all means, do so. But for heaven's sakes, keep the Indian army out of this dirty politics. Officers across the country are furious with the manner in which Mamata Banerjee and her party have been using the army for political gain.
Absolutely. Rahul, thank you so much for getting us all those details and also showing our viewers contents of that letter. We have with us also GVL Narasimha Rao from the BJP. Sir, Army's letters to the West Bengal government agencies very clearly indicating that, they have been informed in advance. These were annual exercises that had to be conducted. Then where are all these conspiracy theories coming out from?
I think the repeatedly the bluff of Mamata Banerjee has been called. I think only yesterday she made 2 very unsubstantiated and completely bizarre allegations yesterday, and both have proved to be completely false. So there is a paranoia, there is a jitteriness among some opposition parties. Mamata Banerjee is certainly one of those opposition parties who has actually criticized the decision from within an hour of announcement by the Prime Minister. Is she transporting anything by way of heavy trucks out of Calcutta or Bengal? Why is she objecting to a normal procedure, routine procedure carried out by the army?
Right.
Why is she politicizing it? Is this some kind of chor ke dadi mein tinka? Is it something that she is fearful of being caught with some kind of transportation of any currency? What is she worried about? Army doesn't belong to Bengal. Indian Army, I think, has an oversight of the entire country. They carry out their regular administrative duties. This is carried out by the administrative wing of the army. You have all the documents in public domain.
No, so you're saying that this is nothing but a figment of her imagination. This is nothing but an exaggeration, paranoia that seems to have seeped within the TMC.
And also a sense of jitteriness. You see, you suddenly find a lot of people panicking.
Why would she be jittery, sir?
No, obviously, I think one can really draw their own conclusions. People are completely suspicious of the kind of opposition that Mamata Banerjee has mounted against demonetization, and they want the only charge they have, only suggestion they had made on the floor of Parliament was to extend the validity of 500 rupee notes for a few months. So what is all this? I think anyone with a reasonable sense of understanding can understand possibly they are caught with large tracts of cash, which they are unable to use. This is an allegation I am making against them, and otherwise it doesn't make sense for any political party.
That's a serious allegation that you're making, Juvenile Narasimha Rao, against the Trinamool Congress and Mamata Banerjee.
This is what the common man on the street thinks. Why would a chief minister take opposition to such bizarre levels? Why would her party, the only demand they have is not for the welfare of the common man. They want validity of 500 to be extended for 2 months so that they can convert that money? Is that the only purpose for which they are mounting this protest?
Right. Well, right now it seems that the only priority for the Trinamool Congress is the conspiracy that they claim that is being hatched against their leader, Mamata Banerjee. For now, Juvenile Narasimha Rao, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. We also have a couple of reactions coming in. Let's listen into some of those.
আর্মি যতক্ষণ এখান থেকে উইথড্র না হবে আমার সেক্রেটারিয়েটের সামনের এখান থেকে মোটিভ ইজ পলিটিক্যাল, মোটিভ ইজ ভিন্ডিকটিভ, মোটিভ ইজ আনকনস্টিটিউশনাল, মোটিভ ইজ আনএথিক্যাল, मोटिव इज अनडेमोक्रेटिक।
आई फेल टू अंडरस्टैंड जो ये तो कानून का बाहर, कानून में ऐसा नहीं चलता। कानून की ये क्या पाकिस्तान है? पश्चिम बंगाल क्या पाकिस्तान? ना चीन। दिस इज प्योरली इलीगल, पॉलिटिकली मोटिवेटेडली व्हाट सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट इज डूइंग दिस इज वेरी